Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Terminator 2. We are capping the Avatar Standard season with the sequel to the original Ugin synthesizer that brought a world of pain to the opponent and their precious board. We've brought back the core group of cards and went with some team bounce to help take care of enemy men. Everyone is packing plenty of beaters, and we needed a defensive card to help stop the damages. Let's get in there. We're playing the full set of Authority of the Consuls, the 1 mana enchantment that gains us a life for every enemy that enters play. And they'll enter tapped, which will make the opponent's blocking schemes that much harder to put together. Combat becomes more difficult when their new men enter tapped. They want to attack but defend as well. Decisions will have to be made. 3 steps ahead is a staple in our synthesizer decks. It's a fantastic 4th turn play after we've dropped a factory. An instant synthesizer is always good for us. And later in the game, we can hold it as a counterspell to stop any plays they try to make to save themselves. A sweeper? Not today, Satan. The 3rd option is great as well. We can use it to help find one of our key cards. Mazemind Tome is a great help in finding cards we need. We can play it out for a cheap 2 mana, then immediately use it to scry 1. We can also pay 2 mana to draw a card with it. And once it has 4 counters on it, it will be exiled but will gain 4 life. It's card draw when we can pay for it, and emergency dig when we're trying to find a factory or even our power dragon, Ugin. Caretaker's talent is a sneaky include in this deck. We aim to make tokens, and the card draw this gives us a great way to power our way past the opponent. While the draw is fantastic, we can also use the level 2 ability to make a token copy of any token we have. That could easily be a token synthesizer for supreme beatings. We're likely not taking the talent to level 3, as our Robot Overlords usually don't need additional pump, but the option is there if we need it. Perilous Snare is an artifact removal that will start our engines. Once we get to max for stat and speed, we can tap it to add a stat-boosting counter to one of our men. Robot Overlords partake of performance-enhancing candy, you ask? Why, yes. Yes, they do. When the snare enters, we get to exile any non-land permanent an opponent controls. This ability to hit a wide range of targets is what makes the snare so good. Not only do they lose their best card, but with a factory in play, we'll generate a Robot Overlord. The synthesizer is our key card. We want to get it in play, then copy it, and play out as many 3-mana artifacts as we can to generate Robot Overlords. To help our cause, the factory even gives us a scry 2 when it enters. All hail our Robot Overlords. The Helm is the perfect companion to the factory outlet. Not only does it trigger the synthesizer, but we can pay 2 mana to copy any token artifact we have on board. That includes Robot Overlords or token synthesizers. And with every token artifact that enters play, the Helm also generates a map token every time we generate a token artifact. Under the right conditions, we can end up with a pile of map tokens that can all help to boost the stats of our AI men. All Fate's Scroll is a mana artifact. It's color fixing as well as ramp to help power out our Ugin. It also triggers our factory, and later in the game we can sacrifice it to draw cards. We do have a good quantity of card draw, and in long games this gives us the option to grab more cards. Flexibility is always great, and this gives us mana when we need it and cards when we don't. Aetherize is our defensive measure against opponents who play out large amounts of enemies and love to send them in turn after turn. With just 4 mana, we can send their men packing and buy ourselves some time to get even more Robot Overlords on board. And because this hits only their men, we can take advantage by firing back when their forces have taken a hit. Hedron Archive is another mana artifact that gives us 2 colorless mana. And for 2 mana, we can sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. It is a great boost to our mana and can give us a pair of cards if we need the draw. Ugin, Eye of the Storms, is the power punch to the opponent's jaw. Not only do we get to exile something when we play him out, but we also will get to do so again when we play a colorless card. And that can anything as simple as a Mazemind Tome, all the way up to a Hedron Archive. His loyalty abilities each give us a way to get the edge over the opponent. His +2 ability will gain us 3 life and we get an extra card. The 0 ability gives us 3 colorless mana which we can use to play out more artifacts or activate abilities. His ultimate can be used to fetch out colorless cards, and we'll get to play them for free, and that includes other copies of himself. For lands, we're playing 4 Meticulous Archive, the Azorius Surveil land. 4 Floodfarm Verge, the plains that becomes a duel when we have a plains or island in play. 7 Island, 7 plains, and 2 Adagia, Windswept Bastion, the special land that we can use to make a token copy of an enchantment or artifact, but only once we station 12 power worth of men. Playing the deck is fairly straightforward. We start setting up on turn 1 if we have an authority in hand, use any available card draw to try to stay ahead of the opponent, and use removal to take out big threats. A synthesizer is always great on schedule, but often we have to wait for one to arrive. Ramp when given the opportunity, but always keep an eye on aggressive opponents. We don't have a lot of removals, so use cards carefully to maximize their impact. If we can't knock them out with Robot Overlords, we have Ugin as our backup plan, and we know how opponents love to scoop when they see him dropping in. His abilities are very difficult to overcome, especially if we can start exiling their permanents by playing out our colorless artifacts. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is 7 stars. We're going to have you seeing much more than that before this ends. We're kicking things off with a 1-lander. This will make the opponent cry. Keep. Just kidding. Mull. Then we get a Shuffler special with plenty of artifact mana and an authority. The Aetherize is excellent as well. Keep. We'll ship one of the scrolls. We need our defensive cards, and the scrolls are 1 mana away from being able to be played out. They play out a golden turkey. I thought these guys had gone extinct. The turkeys have been eaten, the bones picked clean, and their hopes and dreams flushed away. We can finally play out our authority. Any more men they play out comes with life gain for us. They fire off a bushwhack to fetch out a land. We need a bushwhack of our own. All we need is 1 more land. They follow up with another golden turkey. We'll start making some gravy and stuffing. We draw a land. It's a Sharkmas miracle. Now we can get involved in this game. They send it, but what they haven't done is play a land. Well done, bro. Well done. They play out a Tifa, but if they don't have any lands, it's not going to amount to much. We draw a 4th land, and we'll play it out. On top, we have a 5th land, which I think we can pass on. With a scroll and soon a Hedron Archive, we should have more than enough mana. They go with a Badger Mole Cub. Even the Golden Turkey team has adopted it. It won't fetch them a land, though, so no team pump. They get themselves a passage, and that's good for some of that pump they want to get. We draw a talent, and while we don't have a way to make tokens, having it on board for when we can start turning them out will be huge. As luck would have it, they play out another land that can fetch them a land. It's the Golden Turkey team doing what it does best. That's a tapeworm being played out. We could counter it, and we won't have it to worry about, but the damages they have on board are nearing lethality. We can't afford to counter their tapeworm. They send it, all their team is pumped, but we have this here Aetherize to settle the wreckage. While it delays them, it is not a permanent solution. We need to be able to generate some of our men. We draw a land, and we could use one of our artifacts to draw, but we can also do so with the 3 steps ahead we have in hand. Let's hold what we got. They replay one of their golden turkeys, they've got to rebuild, and with the 4 mana they have, they can't replay everything. That's a 3rd golden turkey. They've multiplied while we weren't looking. We have enough mana to copy and draw. Let's copy the archive here. We draw Ugin and a tome. We have to toss the mind book. Ugin is quite a prize. We'll play out Ugin. His ability can deal with their tapeworm. Get bent, mate. We'll smell you later.
I am the master. I will not allow my progeny to continue.
We'll do the easy draw first and make a copy of our token archive. And that gets us a land. If not for these land draws, I don't know what we'd get. All right, Ugin, you're up. Get us something good. Wait, what? Another land? Shout out to the shuffler. We've got no choice but to play out our snare and take out one of their golden turkeys. They had near lethality, but they play out their cub. Oopsie poopsie, bro. Keep your eye on the prize. Their sequencing could use some work. Had they animated an untapped land, they could have played out Tifa as well. They even have a baby Baloth. Now we can't counter their men. With this hand, we were going to counter everything. They went from being able to take out Ugin to not being able to get the job done. We draw a second Ugin, which could be huge. On top, we have a factory. It's finally shown up. Let's draw the Synthesizer with Ugin. We could add 3 mana and then use that to draw with one of our artifacts. But it's easier to draw and gain life in the process.
The wise heed my advice.
On top, we have a land and a tome. We'll ship the land, but the tome is another exile effect that we can hit them with thanks to Ugin. Let's play out the second Ugin for double exile, and we can start cleaning up some of their men. We'll snipe the golden turkeys. Those can only get bigger. They'll have to squeeze out more if they want them.
Power belongs to my timeless wisdom guides your hand.
Now we'll draw and get our tome in hand. Then we can play it out and snipe another one of their men. It's either a cub or the Baloth. Let's just cut down their power, and that's the Baloth. Cubs are only 2 damages.
Heed my counsel.
They play out yet another cub. At least it's not a tapeworm. This time they do go after Ugin. They've been hurt and didn't like the pain. We're about to lose our power dragon, but now we have a board that can give us a shot at being in this game. Let's scry with our tome. It's better to draw with it, but we need to be able to find something we can use. That is yet another land. I'm not sure what's up with so many lands in a row, but we can't keep drawing mana. And we draw a land anyways. Just amazing. How many lands in a row is that? We'll crack one of our token archives to draw a fresh pair. We get a land, no surprise there, but we also get another Aetherize. That will do. That will do nicely. We do have enough mana to sacrifice our scroll for 4 fresh ones. Let's do it. We went from having only 1 card to having a full hand. We'll cap our turn with the second authority. They play out a Hydra. I'm not sure why players are never happy with what they have on board. Do they absolutely need to play more men? We'll play out the archive, and this will give us our first Robot Overlord. We can finally start building an army worthy of Mordor. We'll follow up with the scroll for another one of our AI. We'll be able to start firing back on our next turn. They drew a land, and that's good for some Hydra pump. Hail Hydra. They send it. They've even kept back a couple of blockers for when we send it. Tragically for them, we're sending all these attackers back to their hand. Even the lands. Earthbending is bad against bounce. They try to rebuild, but rebuilding will be difficult when their men enter tapped. At the end of their turn, we'll make an instant synthesizer. They kept 2 blockers up, and we're going to make sure they have to use them. On top, we have a land and another 3 steps ahead. I can't believe we're still seeing lands. We draw another talent, but we want to finish them. Let's copy up and make a token snare to take out one of their blockers. That's going to be GG's, extra cheese, whether they like it or not. This is H4 Puppy P. These names, what are you doing with these names, bro? We get a mono blue 3-lander, we do have a pair of scrolls and a tome we can play out. The authority will have to wait for white mana. Keep your pants on. They play out a hound. Sephiroth Sacrifice or Roots. Place your bets, boys. We draw a white mana against both Sacrifice and Roots. The authority will be gold. We're still drawing plenty of lands, but that's fine. We can play out our tome, and that can get us better draws as well as more cards. They play out a Van Dam, sacrifice confirmed. We'll scry. Note that we put a stop at the start of our turn, so we can scry again if we don't have something on top that we want. That's a talent on top. We'll send it on down. There's no way we can generate tokens right now. Let's scry again. And again, we have a talent on top. We have only 3 in the deck, and if we want one, maybe we should keep it. But again, we can't generate tokens, so it has to go down. We draw 3 steps ahead, and that's a way to make a token. If only we'd known we would draw it. They surveil away a second hound. It's likely they're packing Revive to get all their little men back from the grave. Their play is a nesting bot. While it is a robot, it isn't anywhere near as good as our own AI men. We could play out the snare and snag their Van Dam, but I think we still have time. Let's go with the second scroll, and that will give us the mana to be able to use the tome to draw. And there is the Sephiroth, the whole reason for the deck they're playing. There's nothing we can do but watch their keycard land on board. Instead of a pile of damages, it's a shuffle of our life total that goes back and forth. We draw another authority and a second snare. We'll play out the authority and then follow up with a snare to snag their key card. They drop in a Sage while they have a board. Most of their men are small. The only concern is Van Dam. We'll use our tome for the last time. It did help us out. The selection was worth it. We draw a second snare, and while I was trying to avoid using one on Van Dam, I think it's a bullet we have to bite before it shoots us in the face. They snipe the snare with their Sephiroth in it, but that's why we have a third snare and enough mana to play it out. They play a cleric and pay for the offspring. Sure, it's more pressure, but it is also a gain of 4 life for us. We didn't know they cared. Thanks, bro. We draw another tome, and we'll take the time to play out our artifacts this turn. The first tome did get us to where we are now, and this second one could help us turn the tables. And you know how we like to rearrange the furniture. They send it. They're not bothering to add more men to their board. At the end of their turn, we'll draw with the tome. It'll be a step closer to a factory. We draw a factory, it's like getting a wish granted. We'll play it out. On top we have a land and an Aetherize. We'll ship the land. Let's not draw another 8 in a row. They send it, and again without adding to their board. We'll get an emergency draw to get our Aetherize, then we can fire it off, and their men will have no choice but to get Gone Girls. To rebuild their board, it will gain us life. They play out all their men once again, even paying for the offspring. They play out another bot. The small men squad keep trying. They send it, and we'll make a surprise synthesizer. The time to strike back has come. We have plenty of mana, and we can add on the draw option here as well. That's a second synthesizer and a land. We'll toss the land. Suddenly we're looking very good. On top, we have another Aetherize and a land. We'll ship the land, but our defensive cards could still matter. Time to drop bombs. Let's factory up and start slashing prices. We're saving the opponent some of their hard-earned money. On top we have a land, no surprise there, and a tome. We'll ship the land. If we can avoid drawing lands, we will. They play out a witch. It's their big drain card, but they need a Sephiroth to make their magic happen. They send their flyers. What's on the ground isn't getting through. They tapped too many of their men. They'd better have a removal or 3. They admit they soiled it. That's your oopsie poopsie. They fire off a Day of Judgment, but we'll counter it. They don't have enough blockers thanks to their mistake. And even if they kept that third blocker up, we could easily make a surprise synthesizer to take the game. With that, we have 6 attackers to their 2 blockers. Each Robot Overlord has lethality. That's going to be GG's, extra Robot Overlord cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.